Hello and welcome to class. My name's Marcus Heyman. One of the things I noticed when I was sent home from work for lockdown was after a few days of sitting at the dining room table, my lower back and my back became really sore. My dining room chairs are not really set up for sitting there for 7 or 8 hours a day. So that's one of the reasons why I kind of thought of this class. It's a way or a class that looks at and focuses on the back line and also a little bit into the hips. So please enjoy, and I really hope to see you soon at the studio. So we're going to come down to the ground. We're going to sit onto our mats. We're going to cross our legs. We want our right shin in front, just to start off with. We're going to close down the eyes, and we're just going to take a few breaths together, just to kind of make this little air pocket or this air gap between what we've just been doing and what we're about to do in class. So you're more than welcome to close down the eyes if that's comfortable. Otherwise, we simply find a spot to gaze at. We allow our focus to look through and beyond that point. We come to the breath as it comes in and out of the nose and the mouth. We're just looking and finding information about our breath at the moment. We're seeing how it moves. We're seeing what that breath can tell us about ourselves this morning or today. And then ever so gently, I'm going to invite you to close down your mouth and focus that breath in and out of the nostrils. I'm going to introduce a gentle count to the breath. So as we exhale completely, as we inhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale for 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Exhale through the nostrils. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Falling into your own rhythm of your breath. Inhales and a gentle pause and long, steady exhales. Allowing your own cadence to take over, your own length. And I invite you here maybe to set an intention for the class. It can be whatever it is. Maybe it's to push the edge. Maybe it's just an intention of being kind to yourself. During lockdown, everything's a little bit crazy, so maybe it's just taking the time to acknowledge our breath and where our body is at. And we gently blink the eyes open. We're going to take our hands and we're going to grab hold of our knees, and then we're going to slowly pull ourselves forward just gently. And we're going to start to bounce in or up and down. We're going to match that with the breath. Exhale, we come down. Inhale, we come up. As the movement or the hips start to feel a little bit warmer, maybe the hands can come to the floor of the mat. And they can walk out as we come up and down. Each time maybe we find a little bit extra depth. Maybe we find a little bit of a sway left and right, if that feels good. We go a little bit deeper. The movement is whatever it needs to be for you this morning or today. 2 more breaths here. We come to our deepest point. And as we inhale, we come back up. We're going to take the hands behind us, and the hands are going to point out to each side, and the feet are going to come in front. We're going to push down the feet, and we're going to lift up our hips as we come into a reverse tabletop. Pushing down, we're lifting the hips up. The gaze might come to the sky. Pushing down a little bit harder with the hands, feeling the shoulders starting to activate. Exhale, we come back down. We're going to cross the legs again, but this time the left shin is going to be in front. We're going to bring the hands to the knees. Inhale, we just find a little bit of a bend. Exhale, we start to move in. Finding that speed that works for you. Finding the depth that works. Maybe we start to find that sway that we had when we had the right leg in front. The hands can come to the floor. They can walk out in front. Finding a little bit of free movement here as well. Maybe we're stretching the tailbone towards the back, stretching the heart forward just a little bit more so we can find a little bit more of an opening. Inhale, we slowly walk the hands back. The hands come behind the hips, the fingers out to each side. We place the feet down. We lift up the hips, reverse tabletop. We can sway left and right, finding just that opening in the shoulders as well here as the gaze looks up. Exhale, we come down. We're going to cross the legs, but this time so that we can roll over the shins and come into a tabletop. Our shoulders are over our wrists, and we're going to just move through some circle movements to warm up the wrists. So we're coming over to the right, and then to the top of the mat, and then over to the left. As we come back down, we come towards the bottom, around to the right. These movements, these circles can be big or small. It's whatever is working for you. Whenever you find a spot that might be a bit sticky, maybe we just hang out in it for a breath, and we keep moving through. 2 more big movements, big circles, and then we're going to reverse the direction. So we come to the bottom of the mat, over to the left, up towards the top, over to the right. The speed is just gentle. We don't want anything too fast just yet. We're going to start to move a little bit faster soon, but right now it's just about finding a bit of opening in those wrists. We come back to center. We're going to flip the hands so the fingers point back towards the knees. We want to make sure that the hands are a little bit wider than shoulder here, so that when we inhale and move into cat-cow, we've got space for our chest to come through. So we're going to start to dip the stomach, inhaling, the chest is coming through, we're rotating the tailbone up towards the sky. The gaze will come forward or slightly up, but not too high. Exhale, we push the mat away. We start to round the spine towards the sky. We tuck the chin, tucking the tailbone. Inhale. Cow pose. Exhale. Cow. Inhale, cow. Exhale. Cow. Inhale, cow. When we go to cat this time, I want you to focus on the tailbone moving first, and the lower back, and the mid back, upper back, and then the neck as the gaze comes to the knees. We're going to come back to cow, but we're going to start with the tailbone, lower back, mid back, upper back, gaze. Same movement, tailbone starts to move, lower back, mid back, upper back. Last round. Finding our biggest posture in this pose. And we come back to neutral. We're going to flip the hands back around and come into a melting heart from here. So we're going to walk the hands out towards the front. And then we're going to start to lower the chest down towards the mat. Maybe just the forehead comes down. We want to make sure that we keep the hips over the knees here. If there's a little bit more space in your spine and in your shoulders, maybe we tuck the chin and look towards the front. The hands can be on the tips of the fingers or they can come flat, whichever's more comfortable for you. One more breath. And then we're going to just come out just gently. We're going to ground down the forearms and we're going to scoot forward so that we can come into Sphinx pose. For Sphinx pose, we want the shoulders underneath, we want the elbows underneath the shoulders. We're going to grip the ground, we're going to push down into the tops of the feet. And as we inhale, the heart is going to come forward and then up just gently. We're going to turn on the back, we're turning on the glutes, pushing down into the mat with the legs. And then we exhale, we let everything soften. The shoulders can come down, maybe the forehead comes down to the mat. We can wiggle the butt left and right, coming back into that Sphinx. So we're starting to feel the pressure build up from the bottom. This is just like a little bit like a toothpaste. You're pushing the bottom of the toothpaste and you're starting to squeeze that energy up and out the top of the toothpaste onto your toothbrush. Then we release everything down. We're going to come into oscillating cobra. So we bring our fingers out to 10 and 2. And our head is pointing towards 12. So as we inhale, we push down the tops of the feet. We start to push into the fingers just gently to help us find a little bit more height. Exhale, we come down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, we push down, we lift up the heart. We find just a little bit more height here with the hands. Exhale, we come down. As we come down, the heart reaches forward, finding a bit of length through the spine. Last round, as we inhale, we lift up. The heart reaches towards the front. Exhale, we come down. We're going to place the hands just underneath the shoulders, and we're going to push back to a child's pose. We allow the spine to drape over the legs. The knees can be together. We take a breath. Long inhale, a gentle exhale. And then from here, we're going to come to a downward facing dog. So the hands grip the ground. We come forward and lift the hips. We tuck the toes. We push the hips up towards the sky. Downward facing dog. We've got 3 breaths here. Just enough time to check in with our downward facing dog. We want to make sure that the hands are gripping the ground. We're turning on the hands and they're just pulling just gently out to each side. So right is going a little bit towards the right, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. That's just going to activate the hands. We're gripping down the fingers. We feel that pressure come all the way up the arms, the forearms, through the shoulders. We're activating the shoulders, rotating the biceps just gently in towards the ears. We're making sure that the spine is nice and long, all the way up and out the tailbone towards the sky. I like to bend into my knees just a little bit because one of the things I've noticed is if I straighten my legs, I usually start to round my back. I don't really want that. I want a nice long spine. 2 more breaths here. Deep inhale. A long exhale. We're going to ripple forward from here into a high plank. So we come onto the balls of the feet, we bend the knees, and then on the inhale, we round the spine as we come forward. High plank, we hold, and we start to drop the knees. Don't touch the mat, and then we push back downward facing dog. Inhale, we ripple forward again. Exhale, we push back. Starting to link the movement with the breath. Inhale, ripple forward. Going at our own speed. Push back, exhale. Inhale, ripple forward. Push back, exhale. 2 more rounds. Inhale. Exhale, last round. Inhale. Exhale. We're going to go through our 2 versions of vinyasa today. So these are versions that I like to take in my practice, but if you have a version that you'd like to take, you're more than welcome to do it. So as we inhale, we ripple forward to high plank. As we exhale, we lower ourselves the whole way down to the mat. We untuck the back toes, the arms come beside the body, and as we inhale, we lift up the heart, locust pose. The hands come to the mat. We can untuck the toes, we push back, child's pose. Then we tuck the toes and lift up, downward facing dog. That's option one. It's a really nice version. Really works into that back muscles and the back line. Option two, we inhale, we ripple forward into high plank. Exhale, we do a complete push-up on the exhale. We drop the knees, holding the breath. We come down with the forearms. We grip the ground so that our shoulders turn on and pull us through on the inhale into an upward facing dog, rolling the shoulder blades back down the back. We push back, downward facing dog. That's option two. You're more than welcome to take that. Really focus on pulling ourselves through on the inhale and end up to facing dog. So then the right leg starts to lift up to the sky. As we exhale, we're going to place the right foot to the outside of the right hand at the front of the mat. We're going to drop that left knee. Inhale, we open the left arm up to the sky. We rotate the heart towards the right. That left hand is lifted up. We feel like it's a bit like a sail. It's grabbing a hold of the wind and pulling our whole body and our whole heart over towards the side of the mat. Exhale, that right hand comes down to the floor. You're going to pick up that left leg. You're going to drop those left toes. You're going to walk the right hand through and come around towards the left hand side for a wide leg forward fold. Really important with this one is that we find length in the spine and we're bending from the hips. The knees can be bent just a little bit just to feel activation into the legs. Maybe we rock backwards and forwards. We feel just a little bit of opening into the hamstrings. When we look back to the front of the mat, we're going to rotate that right foot and we walk the hand all the way around to the front. We want the right foot pointing a little bit off the mat, and I'm more than happy for you to have your feet completely off the mat. We're going to take this left foot and step it forward to the outside of the left hand. We sink the hips down, and then as we inhale, we come up to this active squat. So the hands are forward. We want the shoulders over the hips. The knees are traveling out to each side over the toes. Breathe here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And then on the exhale, we stand and the hands come to heart. Inhale, the hands come up to the sky. Exhale, the hands come down to the heart as we come back to the active squat. We place both hands onto the ground. We step the left leg back and we rotate onto the blade of that left foot and as well onto the blade of the right foot, and the right hand comes up to the sky. 2 breaths here. High horizon lunge. We're lifting the hips. You can also just gently move through those hips as we lift and drop, feeling where in your hips maybe there's a little bit of a need for an opening, a little bit of need for a bit of love. Maybe you can rock backwards and forwards. The right hand comes down. We take that right foot. We step back. Downward facing dog. Left leg lifts to the sky. Steps to the outside of that left hand. We drop the right knee. Inhale. We come up with the left. The gaze comes up to that left thumb. We feel that opening as the heart is looking towards the left. Maybe it's seeing something new. Maybe it's seeing that left side of the room, of your body. Then the left hand slowly comes down. We're going to pick up the right and we're going to rotate so we can place the right foot flat. The hands walk to the center of the mat. We come into that wide leg forward fold. A little bit of a bend into the legs just to find active thighs and active calves. Nice long spine. Finding the hinge from the hips. We don't want to round into the spine here. 2 more breaths. And we walk the hands back to the front of the mat. Rotate those left toes. Maybe the foot comes off the mat. We step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. We come into an active squat. Making sure we're bringing the shoulders back. We want to find the shoulders above the hips. We don't want to be leaning too far forward. We want to be leaning back, finding that activeness, finding that activity into the legs. Exhale, the hands come to the heart. Inhale, the hands come to the sky. Exhale, the hands come back down to the heart. Hands down to the floor. The right leg steps back. We rotate onto the blade of both feet. High horizon lunge. Left arm reaches to the sky. 2 breaths here. We're lifting the hips. We can rock backwards and forwards or left and right. Maybe that helps us find just that place that we want to be or that feels really nice. Left hand comes down to the floor. We step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, we ripple forward, high plank. This is where we're going to go through our vinyasa. So whichever one was speaking to you, we take. Exhale, we lower either for a push-up or the whole way down. If we've done the push-up, we drop the knees, we drop the elbows. Inhale, we come into an upward facing dog or a lotus. We push back, downward facing dog. Right leg lifts to the sky. We're going to start to speed this up just gently. Right foot to the outside of the right hand. Rather than dropping the left knee, right arm reaches. And then as we exhale, the right hand's going to come through between the left hand and the right leg. We're going to come out to a wide leg forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. We look to the front of the mat. We come forward with the hands. We place the feet so they're pointing out just gently. We step forward with the left. Active squat. Inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, hands come up. Exhale, active squat. Hands to the floor. We step the left leg back. We rotate onto the blade of both feet. High horizon lunge. Right arm up to the sky. Right hand down. We step back. High plank. We go through our vinyasa. Exhale. We drop the knees if we're doing the full push-up. Inhale. Upward facing dog or locust. Push back. Downward facing dog. Left leg to the sky. Outside of the left hand. Left arm lifts up to the sky. We rotate towards the left. Exhale, the left hand comes between the right arm and the left leg. We rotate out to the side. Wide leg forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, we fold. Rotating back towards the front of the mat. The left toes point out. We step the right leg forward. Active squat. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale. Exhale. Hands to the floor. The right leg steps back. We rotate onto the blade of both feet. High horizon lunge. Left hand comes down. We step the left leg back so we're in high plank. We go through the vinyasa. Inhale into your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. So we're going to step into active squat from here. So the right leg can come up and we can simply step the right foot to the outside and then the left leg steps forward. Inhale, active squat. Exhale, we rise. Inhale, hands come up. Exhale, active squat. Hands to the ground. We step back to high plank. We go through the vinyasa. Inhale into your back bend. Downward facing dog. Left leg outside of the left hand. Right foot steps forward. Active squat. Exhale. Inhale, hands come up. Maybe a gentle back bend. Exhale. Hands to the floor. Right leg steps back. Left leg steps back. We're in high plank. Go through your vinyasa. Inhaling into that back bend. Push back, downward facing dog. We've got 2 more, so it's right leg, left leg, or maybe we step or float to the front. Active squat. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Hands to the floor. We step or float back. High plank through your vinyasa. Inhaling into the back bend. Last one. Either left leg steps forward or float with both. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, that back bend gets a little bit larger. Exhale, active squat. Hands to the floor. Step or float through your vinyasa. We come back, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Allowing ourselves just to recenter, to come back to that breath. Allowing it to slow down as we inhale and exhale. Right leg comes up to the sky. As we exhale, we're going to bring it in between the hands at the front of the mat. And inhale, we're coming up for a crescent lunge. So the arms come up to the sky. You're more than welcome to widen the stance so that we've got a little bit more stability. I like to bend into that back leg just a little bit so that I can make sure that my hips are square towards the front of the room or the front of the mat. Inhale, the arms come up to the sky. I'm going to start to set up for the flow. So we're going to do the flow about 4 or 5 times. So we're starting off in this crescent lunge. And then we're going to start to grip the air with our hands and activate the shoulders. We're going to bring the elbows down each side, down towards the ribs. As we do this, we're going to feel the shoulders pushing into the heart, maybe pushing the chest forward. The back bend might be there. Then as the hands come past and down to the hips, they're going to come the whole way down to the ground. We're going to move back to a pyramid pose. So the hands come to the floor. We're straightening that right leg to the best of our capability this morning. We can stay on the ball of that left foot, or we can rock backwards and forwards between the ball and the heel. The right heel might come to the ground as the toes lift up. 2 more breaths. Just finding opening in the hamstring. Once we start to flow, we won't hold this for so long. It'll be one simple breath, one movement. As we come forward, we're going to bend into this right leg. The hands are going to come off the mat to the front. We're going to lift up that left leg. We're going to come into a bent leg warrior. So we're going to keep this right leg bent. The hands are going to come to the heart. We're going to stretch the heart towards the front. We're going to activate this back left leg. Holding here. I'm starting to work. I hope you are too. And then we're going to push from here with this right leg to come straight up into aeroplane. Hands are at heart. A nice long spine. We feel that line coming out of the head, pulling us towards the front. The same line is coming out that back foot, pulling towards the back. We bend into this right leg. We're going to rotate that left foot so that we can land in warrior 2. The hips are rotated just gently towards that front left-hand corner. The arms reach forward. We flip the front palm. We reach to the sky, stretching up through the right side of the body. Opening those ribs up. Exhale, the hands come down to the floor. We take this right leg, we step back. We're in high plank through the vinyasa. Inhale into your back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg to the sky. In between the hands at the front of the mat. Inhale, crescent lunge. Remember to widen the stance if you need it. We want stability here. Hands come up, right leg can have just a gentle bend, so we're pushing that right side of the hip forward and pulling that left side back with the thigh. We grip the air, feel like a chin up as we pull down the bar behind our head. We can feel the heart coming forward as the shoulders push. There might be a bit of a back bend, and the hands come down. We take the hips back as we come into pyramid. We've got a couple of breaths here. Just to rock maybe backwards and forwards. Allowing that left hamstring to open up. Because we're going to ask it to do a lot in a second. So we're going to make sure that it's awake. Make sure that it's ready for this next little bit. As we come forward, we bend into that left leg. The hands might come off the floor. We lift up the right leg. And then the hands come to the heart. But we're keeping this left leg bent. I find nice length through the body. Activation in the right leg, just as much as what we're activating into the left. We push down to the left as we rise up. Full aeroplane pose. Breath in, breath out. We're finding a drishti, a gaze, a point that we're focusing on. And then we slowly bend into that left leg. We drop the right to the back. The toes are pointing just a little bit forward, not too much, so that the hip can point towards that front right. Warrior two. We sink deep into the hips. We reverse the front palm. Reverse the warrior. Exhale, hands come down to the floor. We step back. High plank through the vinyasa. Inhale, your back bend. Downward facing dog. We'll start to move a little bit faster. Right leg to the sky. In between the hands. Inhale, crescent lunge. We bring the hands down, the elbows come to the ribs, the heart rotates forward. Back bend might be there. It comes down past the hips. We take the hips back, pyramid. We come forward, bending into the right leg, hands off the mat. They can stay here if you need, or we simply lift them to the heart for bent leg warrior. And we feel like a leg press as we push to come up to aeroplane. Bending back into that right leg, we land in warrior two. Inhale, exhale a little bit deeper. Flip the front palm. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step back, high plank through the vinyasa. Into your back bend. Push back, downward facing dog. Left leg into the chest, between the hands. Inhale, crescent lunge. Turning on the biceps, turning on the shoulder muscles. Lifting the heart up as the shoulders come down, the ribs, the elbows come to the ribs, then past and down to the floor. Pyramid. You start to bend into that left leg. The hands come off the mat towards the front. We extend that right leg. We're bending that left leg. Maybe the hands come to heart for bent leg warrior. Push down into that left leg as we rise. Defying gravity, coming straight up like a lift. And we drop the right foot to the back. Warrior two. Flip the front palm, reverse. Exhale, windmill down. We step back, high plank, low plank. Come back up to high. Inhale into your back bend. Downward facing dog. Got one more round. So right leg lifts to the sky, into the chest. Inhale, into your back, into your crescent lunge. Pulling the elbows down. Finding the back bend. Hands come down past the hips. The hips start to move. Maybe this time, rather than the hands coming to the floor, they just reach towards the back. We bend into that right leg. We're coming into bent leg warrior. How can you do it with or without hands? Finding wobble, pushing down into this right leg to rise. Aeroplane. We land back in warrior two. Sinking deeply. Flip the front palm, reverse. Exhale. Hands come down to the floor. You step back. High plank through your vinyasa. Last one. Left leg to the sky, in between the chest. Inhale, crescent lunge. Making sure we're pulling that right hip forward, pushing that left back. Gripping the bar with the hands, activating the biceps and the shoulders, rotating the heart up towards the sky. And when the hands come down, we're coming into pyramid. Maybe this time without the hands. Bend into that left leg. The hands can come to the floor for support or not. I'm wobbling all over the place. I hope you are, because one of my favorite teachers always says, work is in the wobble. It's all of your stabilization muscles turning on. Push down into the left leg to lift up to aeroplane. We drop back, warrior two. Sink deeply. We flip the front palm to reverse. Exhale, we come back down to the ground. We step back, downward high plank through our vinyasa. Inhale into your back bend. Push back, downward facing dog. We've got 5 breaths here, taking our time. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. We've done a lot of work. We've opened up the back muscles. We've worked into the legs. And just allow this time in this downward facing dog, or option is child's pose. Just to let that work sink in, let it marinate through the body. Let it find its place that it needs to, wherever that might be. 2 more breaths. And we're going to need to come to the front of the mat so that we can come down onto our bums. So you can do that however you like. You can simply walk forward, a simple hop, a teleportation, whatever it is that works for you. Got a count of 8 to do that. We start on 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we lower our bums down to the ground. We roll onto our backs and bring our knees up to our chest. We can roll to the left and to the right. Maybe we do a few circle movements with the knees. Our hands are on the knees and just finding a little bit more love into that lower back. And we're going to allow the left leg to come to the ground. We're going to take this right ankle over that left leg. We're going to place the hand or the right hand through the legs, and we can either grab the back of the hamstring or the front of the shin. We're going to come into reclined pigeon. We're going to bring that knee towards the chest. At the same time, we want the tailbone lengthening towards the front of the mat. We'll feel a nice long spine. Option here is to use that right elbow onto that right knee just to help push it out to the side. You might find a little bit extra space or a little bit extra tension that's being held there in the hips. 2 more breaths here. We're going to back away from the pose just a little bit. We're going to allow this right leg to slide, and so that we stack the knees on top of each other. And then our right hand is going to grab our right shin or ankle, and our left hand is going to grab our right hand is going to grab our left shin or ankle, and our left hand is going to grab our right shin or ankle. And we're going to just pull them out towards each side. We're going to bring the knees towards the chest. For reclined cow face pose. The eyes can close down. We're starting to wind down, out of the class, out of the movement. But don't let go of the breath. We want to hold on to that strong inhale and the gentle exhales. We're still focusing the breath through the nose. Maybe while we're here and as we're breathing, we can feel how the breath helps our body open. And then maybe we can just move into that a little bit. There's no right or wrong way, just to kind of go into what feels great for you. Maybe that means that you need to pull the knees a little bit over to one side or rock them backwards and forwards. Stillness is always an option, but movement is as well. Then we're going to release both legs. We're bringing the sole of the left foot to the ground as well as the right. We're going to set up for reclined pigeon on the left side. So we take that left ankle over that right knee. We're bringing the left hand between the legs, and you can either grab hold of the hamstring or grab hold of that front shin, and we pull it back towards us. That left elbow can push into that left knee. As we bring that right knee up towards the chest, we still want to focus on that left or that sit bone running long. We're going to back out just gently. We're going to allow the knees to stack to come into reclined cow face pose. Right hand grabbing that left ankle. Left hand grabbing the right ankle. 2 more breaths. Inhale, exhale. We're going to bring the knees up into the chest as we release. We squeeze them in tightly. And we're going to extend the legs towards the front of the room as we come into Shavasana. And I invite you to maybe pause the video or just allow for an extra about 5 to 10 minutes after this video just to simply lie here and allow our bodies just to be still, allow our minds to take the time that it needs to process what we've done, allow our breath just to flow as it does. I really look forward to seeing you in the studio at some point soon. And thank you for practicing with me.